Hello there, friends. Today I've come out to the beautiful Ashley River Park, and I'll be sharing some information with you from HBR's running meetings. This section is entitled When Good Meetings Go Bad and How to Fix Them. Skimming through, I'll just share that many of us who are familiar with being in meetings all the time may not find all of these tips useful. A lot of people's personalities come into play when dealing with some of these issues. So it's going to be one of those things where you're just going to have to try things out and learn over time what does and what doesn't work. And also, an important thing is how you deliver messages. That also comes into play, your own personality and your own management style. So with no further ado, let's just run through a bunch of different ideas that the authors share in this book. Some of the tips will not be applicable to you, and hopefully you get a few of the good ones that you can take with you into your next meeting that doesn't quite go out so good. Let's begin. When good meetings go bad and how to fix them. Unfortunately, even if you've followed all the guidelines for conducting an effective meeting, things can still go wrong. You're dealing with human beings after all. They can derail even the most carefully thought out agenda. And the best way, the authors say, to handle problems is to prepare for these problems as much as possible ahead of time by thinking about the attendees that you have. And the attendees that you've invited that tend to cause different issues. A windbag, consider speaking to this person in advance of the meeting so that he can focus his comments, and specifically request this, that they focus their comments on certain aspects that you'd like them to speak on. A constant critic, maybe? Follow up your meeting invitation with a suggestion that she lead the discussion on a particular aspect of your decision. What to do if... The following intervention techniques can serve as first aid measures, the authors call them, to help you get your group or an individual who is part of your group back on track in the midst of a meeting. So, the first one, what to do if participants arrive late or leave early. Tip number 1, consistently begin and end meetings on time. People eventually will come to respect your time limits and boundaries. Though, I will add, if you're going to do this, make sure you are not having meetings that are a waste of people's time, constantly repeating the same things over and over. Have an efficient meeting, start on time, end on time, and people will come to love having you lead their meetings or lead your own meetings, coming to attend your meetings. Number 2, give participants, especially those who have a habit of being late, a job to do during the session. No one with an assigned responsibility wants to come in late to a meeting and scramble to get it done. So that is a good tip. If you want to know about some of those roles, you can go back to one of the previous talks on running meetings, and there are definitely a lot of roles that you can provide someone. If they're not a collaborator in the meeting, then a scribe is a perfect role to give to someone to make sure, well, not make sure, but really encourage them to get to the meeting on time. The third tip, at the beginning of the meeting, ask the group if everyone can stay until the designated end time. If not, consider adjusting the length of the meeting. And also preempt early departures. There may be people that have legitimate reasons that they need to leave, that they have another important meeting that's starting up, or they're at the airport and they're trying to get onto a flight. So preempt any of those issues. Number 4, after the meeting and in private, remember, in private, ask the person why he or she missed part of the meeting. Find out what the underlying cause is for the behavior. And once you understand, you'll have a better understanding of what is going on in your meetings. What to do if one person dominates the discussion. The tips that they give 5 tips. Number 1, I never thought of this, but if you are standing, walk closer and closer to the person that is dominating the discussion. And this, instinctively, it tends to draw the attention towards you and away from the person that is going off. Second tip, thank that person for their input and then call on someone else. Acknowledge that they're speaking and then move on. Number 3, if that person finishes other people's sentences, encourage that person to let other people speak to themselves. This goes into personalities, so it depends on how you deliver it, depends on how they take it. But speak and let them know that they should let other people speak for themselves. Number 4, ask the group to change roles so that the quiet people speak up and those that have been talking to remain silent for a while. It's very important if you're leading a meeting, facilitating a meeting, that you're getting everyone's input. And we all know that almost a tier system develops. The louder, more vocal people will say everything, and the quieter people have a difficult time having their perspectives heard. Number 5, for chronic interrupters, during a break, if a break is allowed in your meeting, ask them to jot down their thoughts and wait until there is a pause to contribute them instead of just shouting them out. For some people, interruption is just perfectly normal in a communication setting, but for some people it's extremely off-putting, and you want to make sure that as a leader you are allowing for an efficient communication network. It's an ecology of thoughts. What to do if the group keeps repeating points already made. This is easily one of the most frustrating things when you are going into a meeting knowing that the leader or the facilitator of that meeting has a habit of droning on and circular thought. So tip number 1 they give, keep track of ideas on a whiteboard or on a flipboard, somewhere where you can write down the ideas. Number 2, confirm your understanding of the ideas presented by active listening. That means restating their ideas. It's like, oh, I understood. What I hear you saying is XYZ, and repeating back to them a fair and accurate summary of what they said. It must be fair and it must be accurate. If you don't give a fair and accurate summary back to them, then they will say, no, what I meant was, and then it'll continue and it won't come to an end. Number 3, when someone begins to repeat an already listed idea, point to the chart or the whiteboard or the flip chart or the piece of paper or the computer screen or whatever it is that you're using to track. Point back to it and says, it looks as though we've already covered that point. Is there something new that you want to add? And that way it can close the discussion very quickly. Immediately, there has to be yes or no. Yes, I have something new, in which case you have something new to listen to, or no, I don't have something new, I just need to keep repeating it. Number 4, if people still keep coming back to the point, you can seek resolution on the spot, saying something like, well, this is obviously important to the group, so let's deal with this right now. Deal with it, come up with a resolution. If there's a decision to be made, make the decision and cut it off. Stop it right there. If that is not the objective of this meeting, to have a decision-making meeting, then you need to have that meeting separately. What to do if participants disturb the meeting? Oh, you're all good, don't worry. What to do if participants disturb the meeting? Number 1, explain the ground rules for participant behavior at the beginning of the meeting. Let them know this is a cordial, polite meeting. Everyone is here to communicate. And then we get into everyone's personalities, right? Number 2, Try asking a question including the transgressors among the meeting you'd like to hear from. Ask a general question, everyone, and then that way, that person who is constantly disrupting can answer, and then also go around the room and get answers from everyone else. And that way, that person has to wait and is forced to wait. 3. Try asking for a single focus. Say something like, our purpose today was to shape innovation strategy for the year. Can we please focus on that point? That way, all the attention is drawn away from whatever other topics are disrupting the group and going directly to the point, your agenda item. Number 4, make fresh connections. If you've agreed on what to discuss and someone still seems to continuously be falling off track, ask them to explain how the topics are related. Don't worry, you can come on through. Who's this little guy?
Oh, that's Tobias.
Hi, Tobias.
You're not live, are you?
No.
Oh, hold on. This guy's gonna...
Yeah, take care. Number 4, make fresh connections. If you've agreed on what to discuss and someone still seems to be going off track, ask them to explain how the topics are related. You might learn of a correlation that you hadn't considered, and some people have a difficult time communicating. You know, they do lots of jumps in their mind and nobody else is aware of how things are correlated. So you might learn something if you ask them to explain, and you can explore that idea with them. Or if not, then you can help them, separate that item for another discussion and then continue on your agenda that you had planned out. Number 5, call for a break if the problem continues. Then, and of course this depends on the length of the meeting and the style of your meeting, during the break, ask people individually what is going on. Get at the reasons for the disruption, and if necessary, directly request the offending parties to stop. Tell them you will address any legitimate concerns after the meeting, but for this meeting, we need to focus on the agenda items. What to do if the group gets stuck or confused? Number 1, ask the group what's going on, or if there is something that they don't understand or don't have enough information about. It may be as simple as that. They may not understand what the question is, how it's relevant, they don't have the background information, so ask them, and that may be a simple one to get resolved. Number 2, if the group gets stuck or confused, remind the group what the agenda item is and what the specific objectives of that item are. Ask the group if there is a key point or issue that has not been raised and needs to be. Number 3, if they get stuck, suggest a short break. Again, depends on the style of the meeting. Then return to the topic. Alternatively, you could also say, let's deal with that after. Let's focus on these few XYZ easier items or more, higher priority items, and then we'll come back to this that we're getting stuck on. Number 4, if all else fails, remove the item from the agenda. Just exit out. Not going to be discussed today. You don't need to be a superhero. Your goal is to make your meeting effective. So if something isn't ripe for a good discussion, take it off the agenda and rethink how to better address the issue after the meeting. Maybe you need to reform your agenda, break it down. If it's too complex an issue, maybe you need to break it down into smaller chunks that can be discussed more easily, and maybe others need some time to think as well. What to do if the group falls silent? Tip number 1, allow silence for some time. In this book, the authors say allow silence for a full minute. That might start getting a little bit awkward, but Allow some time for the silence. The group may need time to reflect on the idea or on their own reactions to the issue. So wait before giving them a suggestion or posing additional questions. While you may want them to respond right away, the authors say, consider that thoughtful comments come from participants who take time to organize their thoughts and arrange how they are going to respond. So don't be afraid of the silence. I suffer from this issue as well. Many times when people ask me a question, I will be quiet and I need some time to get the wheels turning. Maybe I'm just slow. Number 2, if the group falls silent, ask the group directly. I notice that you've fallen silent. Is there something going on? Is there something I'm unaware of? Number 3, ask people if they would like you to clarify something. Perhaps they have not understood and that's why they're silent. People don't understand and nobody will want to ask the question. Say, I don't understand, can you please clarify? So preempt it. Ask people, and as a result, you will have better meetings and you will be respected more as a leader in these meetings. Number 4, ask them if you are unaware of a key point or issue or if you have caused some confusion. Very similar to the previous one. Number 5, this is where your own introspection and self-awareness comes into play. Think about whether your behavior might be the problem, and that's why nobody wants to respond. Ask yourself if you came on too strongly in an opinion or a preconceived notion, and perhaps nobody else in the group agrees with that or thinks that's the right course apart from you. Number 6, ask the group if there's something everyone's avoiding discussing that's important. The authors put this in the book. I don't really know if asking is going to, if they're avoiding discussing something. I don't know if asking them what they're avoiding is going to resolve, but who knows? Maybe somebody will speak up. So maybe it is worth asking. Number 7, take a short break. Again, depends on the length and style of the meeting. Take a short break to refocus and find new energy, but be clear that when the break is over, you expect to focus and finish. And don't take a long break. 5 minutes is fine. With more than that, people tend to get sucked up into other tasks or just disengage, disconnect from everything that's going on in the meeting. Number 8, if the group just seems worn out, and this is easily an issue if you have back-to-back meetings in your office, then consider just ending the meeting, saying, all right, we're not being productive here. Let's reschedule for another time and find another time. What to do if there's an elephant in the room? The group may avoid an issue or attempt to focus on one issue to the exclusion of others because members are afraid of bringing up a particular subject. If you don't realize there is such an issue in advance of the meeting, you are likely to have some clues in the room, particularly people staring intently down at their notebooks and refusing, to make eye contact with you. Exchanging glances with one another or starting to speak and then censoring themselves. Then you know that something is going on. There is something going on and nobody wants to bring it up. The problem could be a topic that seems too difficult to tackle, too taboo to raise, or that if discussed would create more work for the team. And nobody wants to be the one to bring it up because everyone else will go, oh no, this person just increased our workload and we're already stretched thin. For example, if people know that firing a subpar vendor would solve a problem, but it would create a bunch of new work, have to start from scratch with a new vendor, they may not want to bring it up, even if it is the right decision to make. They may be concerned about an impending round of layoffs, and so they won't be at their best in a group meeting. Even if the meeting topic is discussed, they're just too concerned and anxious about it. If you know or suspect that something emotionally fraught lies behind the team's malaise, It may be best to address the problem in more private, one-on-one settings in which an individual feels much more free to express themselves. It's much more personal than bringing it up in front of an entire team of people. Emotions and personal questions can be relayed much more easily. But if it's not something as sensitive as that, you need to move the group along within the meeting. You need to push everyone forward. Here is how these authors suggest. If you realize what the issue is, raise it yourself to get the group moving again. Bring it up. Then ask the group to explain in detail the nature of the problem, issue, or opportunity. Try to make it more abstract so it's not so personal. If you can use language that describes it in a certain way where it is not attached to someone, it might make it a little bit easier. Find out how long it has existed. Great question. Then it removes the discussion directly, and we're talking about time, related but not directly speaking about it, and what the consequences would be if nothing is done. Also, remember to thank the participants if they bring up controversial or different viewpoints. That way, you will reinforce the idea, and repeatedly do this so you reinforce it throughout the meeting, that this is constructive dialogue, and it is a great way to find solutions, to generate solutions, if even the deviant voices are raising issues without fear of judgment. Number 2, let the group know how important it is to bring up all options, concerns, and issues, even if they are difficult. Let them know you won't kill the messenger. It is a common human urge to blame the bearer of bad news, but it's wrong. Recognize it and don't do it. Even better, like the last point, thank the person brave enough to be that messenger. You need those messengers if you are a leader. If real angry conflict arises, 1, call for an immediate stop to any bickering. Stop it immediately. 2, if necessary, take a break and speak to the contenders individually. Number 3, let all members know that it's fine to be passionate, but ask people who are unable to control their tempers to deal with their issues outside of the meeting room. This is not a place for a fight. Number 4, reaffirm the ground rules and norms for behavior that you established at the beginning of the meeting. Number 5, encourage members to keep their comments positive and constructive. Try to see all sides of a contentious issue. Number 6, focus on the substance of ideas or opinions, not on the contributor's personal style or status in the organization. Disconnect the people from the ideas and discuss only the ideas. Number 7, keep members from evaluating or judging others' ideas too quickly. If it seems like every idea that the team suggests is getting attacked by other team members, you can say, now there's an idea, let's not evaluate it, just let me write it down first. Let me take notes. Let me sketch it out real quick. And that way it allows the idea to remain in the room for a short while. And then you can start getting to reactions. Number 8, use probing questions to steer members away from entrenched positions and help uncover the underlying issues. This is something that once you begin to know people's roles and their positions on things, is something that it would be best to plan for. When you are preparing your meeting and agenda, also include some of these questions to try to counter any destructive behaviors that you may encounter in your meetings. Finally, as a last resort, ask the most contentious individual to leave the meeting and then catch up with them later on. Do it politely, firmly that you need to leave the meeting. I'll catch up with you later. I'll give you an update on how this discussion goes. You have a responsibility as the meeting leader to make sure you haven't wasted your own time and have not wasted all of your participants' time by letting a good meeting go bad. Be prepared for problems and challenges that come up, and they will come up, but stay calm and remind yourself and all of your teammates that your goal is to make a productive session, that you want to keep everyone focused on having a healthy conversation. These will always come up for the rest of our lives, so hopefully you gained a few tips from what to do when good meetings go bad. Thank you.